Mail-in ballots are very dangerous. There's tremendous fraud involved and tremendous illegality.
But there are many Republicans, secretaries of state, that are also moving to mail-in ballots because of the pandemic and people are scared to go vote.
Well, we're going to see how it all works out, but they had 7.7 million applications sent out. They have, in the state of Nevada, they have a tremendous drive-in where you just mail in your ballots. You can't do that. You got to go and vote. People have to check you. They have to see that it's you. They're supposed to look at you and check you and make sure that, I mean, when you get thousands of ballots and they put them in a bag and they just bring them in and people start counting, who knows where they come from? It's so obvious. You have cases of fraudulent ballots where they actually print them and they give them to people to sign. Maybe the same person signs them with different writing, different pens. I don't know. There's a lot of things can happen. No, if you can, you should go and vote. Voting is an honor. It shouldn't be something where they send you a pile of stuff and you send it back. Another thing that happens, a lot of people in certain districts, this is historically, a lot of people in certain districts don't ever get their ballot. They keep calling, where's my vote? Where's my ballot? Then election day passes and they forget about it. And that can happen in the thousands. I'm not saying it does, but it can. It probably has.
Back when Trump was worried about losing the 2020 election, he railed against mail-in voting with a litany of lies to preemptively make excuses for his loss. It worked so well in turning his supporters into traitors, he figured he'd do it during this election cycle, too.
So corrupt. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you have corrupt elections. I don't care what it is. It's anybody that wants it, they're corrupt. And that includes Republicans, by the way.
He said, anytime you have mail-in ballots, you have corrupt elections. I don't care. Anybody that wants it is corrupt, including Republicans. I think y'all might see where this is going.
So you were highly critical of mail-in voting, mail-in ballots for voting.
I think mail-in voting is horrible.
You voted by mail
corrupt.
in Florida's election last month, didn't you?
Sure, I could vote by mail for that.
How do you reconcile
Because I'm
that?
allowed to. Well, that's called out of state. You know why I voted? Because I happen to be in the White House and I won't be able to go to Florida to vote. I think that mail-in voting is a terrible thing. I think if you vote, you should go. And even the concept of early voting is not the greatest because a lot of things happen.
If we want to compete with the Democrats, we cannot wait until Election Day. If we want to compete and win, we must embrace early voting. The days of waiting until Election Day to vote are over.
Somebody better tell Donald Trump that those rhinos, Donald Trump and Lara Trump, are corrupt, advocating for mail-in voting and early voting. It's going to be hard to convince MAGA that it used to be corrupt all the way up until they realize that it's more beneficial to take part in the legal aspects of the election process. It's one of those downsides to brainwashing your supporters with constant lies about a widely used manner of voting. They eat it up and vow to never vote by mail, ironically further advancing their main issue of not appealing to the majority of the country. You know, when your policies and agenda sucks while also being led by a guy who openly leans into criminal activity, all you got left is to delegitimize the system that you just might need to use one day. And honestly, people get tired of listening to them complain all the time about everything.
I see that the RNC and the Trump campaign filing a lawsuit in a battleground state to stop counting ballots past Election Day. What are you doing with regard to suing Nevada right now?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. You cannot have ballots counted, Maria, after elections are over. And right now, that is one of the many lawsuits we have out across this country to ensure that just that happens, that we have a free, fair, and transparent election. So in Nevada, as you pointed out, we are saying we want on Election Day that to be the last day that mail-in ballots can be counted.